If you are working hard at a job and get COVID and get sick, it shouldn't be financially devastating.
It's past time we invested in childcare so parents can work, providers are paid living wages, and kids get a strong start. Senator Manchin, my family is counting on you.
Senator Manchin, my family is counting on you too.
It's time that we ensure that our families and economy thrive.
It's time to pass Build Back Better.
Paid for by Moms Rising Together.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Stand by. You're back to live and local programming in moments on The Watchdog.
Hello, everyone. From The Watchdog, I am the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. Weather look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. Partly to mostly sunny skies, a high near 57 degrees, with an overnight low of 36 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Clouds and sunshine mixing for your Tuesday, with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From The Watchdog, I am Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
I'm not a Monday guy.
I'm not crazy about it either. I also don't like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays.
Are you ready to go? I'm warning you, I'm seriously stressed out here.
You always drink like this so early in the morning?
Isn't it a bit early in the day for the bottle? Even for you?
Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
Make the radio call.
It's time to get up.
It's time to hear that pop.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
We are go for launch.
Conversations you care about with people you know. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe on WKKX and WVLY.
34 degrees, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 31 here at my home studios, Elm Grove section of Wheeling. And we are looking at 33 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Going to be partly cloudy. 56 for the high today, so that's going to be a pretty nice day. I think you can get out and do some stuff and enjoy the temperatures. In fact, going to be a pretty good week all throughout the week here in the upper Ohio Valley as we kick off a brand new week here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Now, Biff, I have not told you this, and I have not told anybody this. I have not told my wife. I have not told the bosses here at the Watchdog. I haven't even told my little buddy, Teddy. But it is, I think, time. Y'all know I've got a lot of years on me, both in terms of actual years, age. You know, had a couple birthdays over the weekend. Watched my wife, my daughter-in-law, other folks hit some big birthdays this weekend. Got a lot of mileage on me here in the radio business. I was having dinner with former pastor last night. Came through the area and he said, you know, Howard, I've never known how long you've been doing this, what you're doing. And I said 50 years. And while I love what I do, and I think I have really continued to do a pretty good job for you every day, my job is to inform, to entertain, to give you something to think about, something to talk about every day, as I often tell you. I think the time has come to call it quits. And so I have, again, not told this to anybody. This is the first time these words are being said out loud. But as of today, or after today, I am going to retire. It's been a wonderful run. Done a great job, as I said, I think, without patting myself too much on the back. I love you all. But I do think it's time to hang it up. So as of the end of show today, I'm done. I am retired. I quit. No mas. You can use the course of the day today to send notes about how happy you are that I'm going away. You can send notes today to tell me about how sad you are that I'm going away. You can tell me what great influence I've been on your life. You can tell me how many of you, a lot of you will tell me, I used to listen to you at my mom's house, my grandma's house. I hear that all the time. But it's time. It's just time. So I wanted to make that the official statement right now, right here this morning. Again, I have not told Nancy. I haven't told the bosses. Haven't told Biff. Haven't told anybody. But I'm sharing it all right now, right here. It is time to retire. Now, Biff, I need to probably point out I plan to unretire tomorrow morning. I plan to change my mind and decide that I've had enough retirement and that I'm coming back to work tomorrow morning. That's the game plan, you see. And I got this idea, Biff. Do you know where I got this idea?
Yeah, from Tom Brady yesterday.
Tom Brady gave me this idea. I thought, what a great concept. I can retire and get everybody feeling sorry for me and telling me, I'm going to miss you. It's wonderful. Maybe I'll get some gifts or something. And then I just keep on going. So I will be retiring at the end of today. And I will be rejoining the workforce tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. In the full and complete spirit of Tom Brady, who after 40 days of retirement decided it was time to come back. Biff, I don't know if you have a definition of retirement in your head or not. And I've known a lot of people who have retired and who have then changed their mind and come back. But most of them lasted longer than 40 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're talking years.
Yeah, I know people who've retired and then said, after a while, no, I don't like this retirement. I'm going to go back to work. But I never heard of the 40-day retirement plan. The 40-day retirement plan. After 40 days of retirement, Tom Brady has decided he would rather, be pursued and mauled by 250-pound men wanting to beat on him than spend more time with his wife and kids. So, my friends, yes, Tom Brady has unretired and will return to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for his 23rd season. Brady tweeted out yesterday, quote, these past 2 months, these past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it is not now. I love my teammates and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa. Don't you think he probably should have thought this through a little bit, maybe, 41 days ago, Biff?
Yeah.
Before he made the big, I'm retiring, I'm quitting, I'm out of here kind of announcement. But anyways, he gave me the idea. So I figured I'm not gonna do 40 days, because I'd be bored for 40 days. It's nothing. So I figured I'm announcing my retirement this morning at the end of the radio show today. Officially this morning after 10 o'clock, I will be retired. And I'll just give you a little advance preview. I intend to announce my return to service tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Brady did 40 days. I'm going to do about 20 hours, okay? But he just gave me the idea. I thought I would take it. So that's it. That's the official announcement. I have now let everybody know. I kept it secret and private all to myself, all about 6 hours last night. But I've decided today is retirement day. Tomorrow is return to work day, so don't get too excited. Those of you who've already popped a bottle of champagne and were sucking it down when I said I was retiring, just keep in mind I'm only retiring for 20 hours. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. By the way, Biff, because you know and I know people don't listen very well, during the day today, people are going to be telling everybody, did you hear Monroe retired? He's quitting, right? People are going to be saying that.
It's a guarantee.
It's a guarantee. They'll be calling Bill this afternoon. They'll call Hoppy. Did you hear Howard retired? People, it's just my way of dealing with the Tom Brady story. Just dealing with the Tom Brady story. All right. 7:18 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Boy, we have a lot to do today. Some of the most hotly contested bills in the legislature in West Virginia did not end up seeing passage. Some of them did. Apparently, it was a wild and woolly weekend this weekend under the Golden Dome. Brad McElhinney in a minute for conversation about how things went this weekend. It's been just about 2 years since COVID became the world's pandemic. Ohio County's Health Administrator Howard Gamble comes in to reflect back on those 2 years and to look ahead at what's next. Meanwhile, Barack Obama tests positive for COVID, and the head of Pfizer says he thinks a fourth vaccine is going to be needed. Congratulations to Wheeling Park High School's speech and debate team for its 42nd consecutive win in the state championships. In a weekend News Register story, Ohio County school administrators and teachers continue to see the recent textbook controversy through different lenses. I'll try and share some of that with you if you haven't read the piece. Russian troops are moving closer to Kiev as they attack close to the border with Poland. We have our continuing coverage from ABC. Join me on the text line, 304-214-1600, or call me on the CityNet hotline, 304-232-8255. With us this morning is Metro News State House reporter Brad McElhinney, who has put in yeoman work over the last 60 days covering the legislature and who did triple duty over the weekend. Brad, what the hell happened this weekend?
Well, first of all, congratulations on your retirement. I want you to know I did send you a gift, but given the abrupt turn of events where you're unretiring tomorrow, I just quickly rescinded it. So Amazon is bringing it back to me. But I was thinking of you.
Well,
I just want you to know that.
That's all I wanted was just, people to think about me for, 20 hours. It's going to be a 20-hour retirement, but we'll begin at 10 o'clock this morning, and I think I will unretire tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. So that's Tom Brady's opened up a whole new concept of retirement.
It reminds me of Michael Jordan with the Washington Wizards, but I think the difference is Brady is still, he defies time, and that team is still really good, and most of the other great young quarterbacks are in the AFC. So if you're Tom Brady and you're looking at the field, why not? But back on the legislature, which I think is why you had me on the show.
Yes.
Speaking of like a bunch of buildup, like your retirement, and then like it immediately all sinks to a pile of nothing.
And then the letdown. Yeah.
And I'm not going to judge the legislation necessarily either way, but that's the way the last 60 days have been. Is like a big buildup of your favorite show, and maybe the writers don't really know from the outset how it's going to end. And so the dramatic conclusion is just like a big letdown. That's where we are. Maybe that's fine. I think, there are probably some people who are very disappointed that the Anti-Racism Act did not get by. I certainly saw a lot of people rejoicing at that dramatic turn of events, which we can get to, I think, in a minute. And then there were other bills that got through, like Senate Minority Leader Baldwin, sometimes a guest on the show, just really believed in a foster care bill that got stripped way down through the Senate process. And then even the stripped down version didn't conclude legislatively. It was lost in the shuffle on the final day. So the legislature giveth, the legislature taketh away. But I mean, all these bills that we talked about that were really the subject of public attention, the 15-week abortion ban, the unemployment changes, the changes that would have scaled back or made more restrictive unemployment benefits. None of that wound up happening in the end. And so part of the job right now is, if you were busy over the last few days, as people are, kind of reminding folks, all right, well, those things that were the subject of public attention or even public alarm over the last 60 days, they're not actually going to be part of West Virginia's public policy.
Brad, I have over the years seen many a session go down to the wire. This may be the first one that went past the wire and caused some problems. I was watching tweets all night long, you, Stephen Adams, some of the Gazette reporters, all night long on Saturday. I was really eagerly watching. I had a hard time following some of this stuff, and I think some of you did too, the amendment to the amendment, the House concurs, the Senate, it was like, God, what are they talking about? But here's what I did know. At the very, very end, I saw at midnight, I looked at my phone at midnight, and it said, Anti-Racism Act passes at the stroke of midnight. The Anti-Racism Act made it through. I was, because I'm very opposed to that act, as you know. And you were counting down a little bit, 6 minutes left to go. The act is still sitting in limbo. Nothing has happened. Then comes midnight, a stroke of midnight vote. The act passes. Personally, I breathe a deep sigh of relief. I go to bed, wake up in the morning, check my news. It didn't pass. I went to bed. I went to bed, you all told me it had passed at midnight. I wake up, now y'all are telling me, no, not quite so.
And I was kind of embarrassed because I luckily, I'm writing for internet at midnight, and so we can revise that. It wasn't like it went to print like Dewey defeats Truman, but, call back all those newspapers. But, I had a story initially just letting people know if they were still up at midnight, all right, it looked like this passed. I didn't even say looked like, in the moment, it was declared passed verbally. And then, the Senate declared sine die, all right, we're over. So it gave all the impression that in the final minute that bill had passed. And it was clearly news because there was so much public attention. And, giving credit to our colleague, Stephen Adams, and I think he was the first place I saw it, was there became some doubt on the legislature's website with the Senate clerk's office. And I thought, well, surely that is not true. That procedurally it looked like that bill passed. But, I think what happened was they went to the timer, went to the tape, went to the review board, kind of like a last-second shot, with the shot clock off, did the backboard turn red? And it just had not made it in time. So that was news in itself. I literally got up out of bed and went down and booted up my laptop again and went to Twitter and said, sorry, everybody, I've made a mistake. And rewrote the story. Just amazing. And I've been puzzling since then about the time management on it, honestly. I cannot wrap my head around. That bill passed the House of Delegates Friday night. And the Senate did have some decisions to make. It changed significantly in the House. So, the Senate procedurally, everybody, can concur. All right, yeah, we agree with what they did. They can reject. No, we want ours. Or they can do further amendment. But continuing to amend on the very last day is pretty dicey because there's no time. But they had all day to do it Saturday. And it was such a leisurely pace. They took a bunch of breaks. They, did some other stuff. They recognized outgoing senators, and I'm thinking, man, if that's a priority, they ought to hop on it and just get that done. And you can imagine the amount of debate that still would have taken place if they had brought it up earlier in the day. I mean, I think your Senator Owens Brown from Ohio County certainly would have had a word or two to say about it. So, then with 5 minutes left, 3 controversial bills came up. An abortion bill that restricts abortions if the reason is a disability. So if you've done a sort of in utero diagnosis that the child may have a genetic disability, you could not cite that as the reason for the abortion. So I mean that's controversial, and that was one of the 3. A bill that would generally allow for micro schools, and I'm still learning what that is, but
I never heard of that until this year, but I'm learning like you.
It's one that I had a hard time getting to, but it would have even less regulatory oversight than a private school. Essentially, it would be kind of a gathering of homeschoolers, but more fully sanctioned by the state. So that came up. That was one of the 3. And then the third, of course, was the Anti-Racism Act, all in the last 5 minutes. And the procedure got crazy. Democrats were trying to get up and debate these bills. Senate Finance Chairman Eric Tarr, a Republican from Putnam County, was calling the question immediately, so meaning shutting down debate. And then Senate President Blair was calling for votes. So it was just cranking out. The sausage machine was cranked to 11 on a scale of 10. We're going to go. And it looked like maybe that had been the strategy, all right, we're going to take these 3 bills that otherwise would draw a vigorous debate, and we're going to do them in the last 5 minutes. And we're going to act like we're really in a hurry, and nobody's going to have time to debate. Well, I mean, it appears to have bit them. They got the 2 that I described through. Those are now going to be, if the governor signs them, they will be law. But this third didn't make it. And if you really wanted that bill, if you're concerned about critical race theory in the schools, if you think, all right, we've got to defend ourselves against this encroaching ideology and make sure the students aren't brainwashed, I think you're mad today that it was a gamble on time.
Was this was this a failure of? We usually hear this phrase in sports, not in politics, but was it a failure of clock management?
I mean, I think so. I have seen. Well, I think the last 5 minutes, the rush in the last 5 minutes that appeared purposeful to me. But not getting the last one through, I thought was accidental. It was, just President Blair appeared to be in a rush, kind of got beside himself a little bit. Like, if you're in a rush, if you're trying to do something in a hurry, you can really get just nervous and jumbly, and it looked to me like that's what happened to him. I have seen conjecture that what I'm describing might not have been purely accident on that last bill, that maybe, I mean, this is really kind of theory on top of theory, but if
I know where you're going with this.
If you wanted the political benefits of saying, well, we supported a critical race theory bill without the reality of enacting it as law, without it becoming public policy, then maybe this is what you do. But boy, that's really, down the rabbit hole with strategy.
Yeah, well, it's also gambling that you're. I mean, this timing was bizarre. I mean, it happened. The final vote right at midnight. Most people thought it actually had been passed. So you're really gambling with time there. If you're hoping that we're going to, and I saw some of that speculation that the idea was to let's get a vote out, let's get everybody on the record, but then let's not have to deal with the consequences of it actually being law. So we'll vote for it, but we'll vote for it in such a way that it doesn't hit the deadline. That's pretty conspiratorial, but who knows? Who knows? This is the act that we have spent a huge amount of time talking about all session long. It was what they called in the House the Anti-Stereotype Act in the House, didn't make it out of the House. Then it was resurrected as the Anti-Racism Act in the Senate, and it looked like it was getting a lot of support, a lot of debate, but a lot of support. And then to the listeners, again, let's be clear, the Anti-Racism Act, there was a vote for it at the last second of the legislature. The vote was enough to pass the law, but the bell rang, the clock ran out, and so it did not pass in time. So that's done. There were a couple of other bills that were really key bills all year long, I think, especially for the GOP leadership, that didn't make it. All season, there were debates on these unemployment changes, Brad, cutting down the key one was to trim down the number of unemployment benefit weeks from, 26 to 12. That, too, came down to the wire, and it also did not pass, right?
Yeah, that is true. It appeared to be cruising toward passage. It was up for a passage vote on Friday. And again, I did a preview saying, all right, this is on the House agenda today. It seems likely to pass. Here are the changes. And the House pulled it from that day's agenda. And that was right after the sort of floor fiasco on the Anti-Racism Act. So it was kind of unclear what was going to happen in the House that day. But they pulled it from the active schedule on Friday, day 59. And the response I got from people was, well, that's just time management. We just don't want to get into a big fight about this in the moment. But it never reappeared. It was up on a passage vote with a day to spare, so conceivably still could have been passed on day 60 or later day 59, and never happened. The Senate tried to revive it by putting those policies into a separate bill that would have established an unemployment fraud unit, and then the House just ignored it. They just said, well, whatever, we're not doing that. And so I frankly, in the sort of fog of war, don't totally understand what the House thinking was. If leaders became actually concerned about these policies, either in how they would work or in the political sense. It could be a pretty bad political look if there are West Virginians in communities where there is, there are very few big employers. Mountain State Spotlight did a story like this that was sort of Northern Handle based, like a manufacturer that's a real big employer in the county or whatever, and the manufacturer goes down, and there's not really readily jobs available, and you've passed this bill limiting the number of weeks of unemployment. Right. It could look like you're heartless or you don't care or whatever, and I suspect that, at least in part, that those kinds of concerns, particularly in counties that are just not flourishing right now, that they became probably untenable for a lot of delegates, and so anyway, they just wound up not putting it up for a final vote.
So the 15-week abortion bill, the anti-racism bill, the unemployment changes, I think the sports transfer bill that we had talked about, the 1-year eligibility to transfer for supposedly academic reasons, that also didn't pass. Although, didn't they, I know I got to run here, but didn't they try to amend that into some totally non-germane bill? Wasn't there something weird that happened with that over the weekend too?
Yeah, there was a lot of that happening. That was amended to try to salvage it because it didn't go anywhere in the House. It was amended into a school innovation zones bill, and then again the House ignored it. Just didn't do anything with it, and so the sports transfer is dead, and the innovation zones are dead as a result of it. There was another bill that had to do with encouraging rare earth metal development in West Virginia, and the Senate tried to amend an amusement tax into that one, a completely different tax. And the House, it was like a laser pointer and kittens. They wound up talking about that one for like half an hour, the virtues or lack of virtue of various taxes. So that was a prominent strategy in the Senate the last day. Like, all right, what is a bill that is sort of related to this, and we're going to we're going to put what we really want into these bills and just see how it goes. But the House wound up not biting on any of them.
I think we'll probably spend the next week or so trying to figure out, what really was going on there. Let me just ask you a final sort of generic, and I should point out to the listeners, there were plenty of bills that the leadership wanted that did pass. I mean, we're talking about some of the ones that were a big deals that didn't get through. There were plenty that did get through. We'll talk about that later. But are we seeing a little division inside the legislature? Are we seeing, the leadership having a little bit of lack of control in one or both of the houses to make these things not as, they've got the power. They could do it, I would think, if they want to, but for some reason they didn't. Are we seeing some divisions of some kind here?
I think Speaker Hanshaw, who is literally a master parliamentarian, I think he pretty deeply believes in letting water roll through the pipes. All right, well, this is the will of the body. I'm elected by my fellow delegates to be speaker, but I don't necessarily force control on things. And so I think he just generally lets the chips fall where they may. I do think maybe the kind of divide you're talking about where the House has its priorities and the Senate has its priorities, and they don't necessarily align, I think that is true. And that's why you saw some of these things just kind of falling in the gap over the last week or so. And then, there are kind of interesting divides, I think, in the Senate majority. And you saw that last fall in, the days-long argument among themselves about how they were going to divide the newly aligned Senate districts. I just think that there is a kind of a right wing that has been ascending and kind of a more traditional, more moderate or maybe more Chamber of Commerce end of the Republican majority in the Senate that sometimes finds itself at odds with the other side. And so that's something to watch, continuing through. I'm going to go a little further than your question, but what the makeup of the Senate becomes after the next election, I think it's going to be very interesting.
Oh, I think so too. You taking time off this week now? I mean, it's got to have been a rough 60, not rough, well, yeah, rough too, but it's been a long 60 days for you. You taking a break?
I probably will. I'm obviously not today because the obvious thing to do is come on programs like this and others and talk about what we saw, for people who were otherwise busy over the weekend, who maybe need reminders or a little bit of analysis to kind of do these things. We in my household, we fostered a dog late in the legislative session, and we actually decided to keep the dog. So on Wednesday, I need to go finalize that. So I haven't told Hoppy yet, but I may take Wednesday off to attend. Hey man, I can't work. I gotta deal with my dog.
Well, listen, you did a great job. I really commend the work you did for the session. A lot of us on the hinterlands out here would have had a hard time. Even people like me who follow it closely, and I talk to people down there, I wouldn't have been able to figure out what was going on if it wasn't thanks to you and Stephen and a few others as well. So a really good job. Hey, I got to run for now. I appreciate you joining us so early this morning. Thanks a lot. We will talk again sometime probably later this week if you're not dealing with your dog.
All right. Well, if I am, just be patient with me as the dog barks in the background.
I got you. Thanks. I appreciate it. Have a good day, Brad. Brad McElhenney from Metro News. So the key thing is that anti-racism bill, which had been debated in one form or another all session long, and we spent probably 2/3 of our time the last 60 days here talking about it, it looked like it passed at midnight. When I went to bed, they had said that the House, the Senate had gavelled into or gavelled out of session. They had gone what they call sine die. It's over. It's done with. The anti-racism bill passed. It passed. Woke up in the morning and it turns out clock management, it didn't pass at all. They missed the closing bell. All right, Aaron Myler's got forecast for us. We'll get to that real quick after we check in with the TV7 News right now.
Now it's time for your local news headlines from 7 News at WTRF, My Ohio Valley, and ABC Ohio Valley. Only on AM 1600 WKKX. The Watchdog.
Good Monday morning, Ohio Valley. I'm Stephen Ruffing with your 7 News headlines. One person is in the hospital this morning after a truck crashed into the back of United Bank in Weirton. The crash happened yesterday evening on Main Street. Hancock County officials confirmed that fire and police personnel were on scene. Weirton Fire reports that one person was taken to Weirton Medical Center. 7 News will keep you updated as we learn more about this story. Senator Shelley Moore Capito is calling for energy independence. This is all because of the rising gas prices and the ongoing conflicts in Ukraine. Senator Capito says it's become apparent the United States is reliant on Russian oil. The West Virginia senator says we need an all-of-the-above package deal, something the Biden administration hasn't budged on. She also says the gas prices aren't because of Russia. Capito claims the prices were already on the rise. West Virginia's legislative session ended yesterday without passing one of its most talked about bills. The Anti-Racism Act of 2022 was approved by senators just after the midnight deadline. It would ban teaching K-12 students that certain groups of people are inherently racist or privileged over others. However, lawmakers did approve a $4.6 billion budget that now goes to the governor's desk, as well as a law preventing abortion based on the belief the child will be born with a disability. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts. If you missed us the first time, keep going. You'll find us just down the dial. AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Bill DeFabio Morning Sports Report coming up for you, including a look at the Tom Brady deciding 40 days retirement is enough. Fascinating story, I think. So we'll get into that with Bill in a couple of minutes. But first of all, Aaron Myler is here from the Big 7, WTRF TV. Aaron, Saturday, our stormy day, but it looks like we've passed all that and going to begin a pretty nice week this week, right?
Oh, yeah, it's looking pretty gorgeous for the week ahead. I mean, warm out there. We're going to have some sunshine out there. So, I mean, not too terrible overall. Can't complain about it too much.
How much snow did we get on Saturday? It was a beautiful looking day. The snow kind of laid nicely on the ground, and there was sun out for a good bit of the day. It didn't seem that wintry watch kind of day that I had expected, even though we got a huge amount of snow.
Yeah, it was like 6 inches about, so we got a decent bit. I think the main reason it didn't look so bad is because a lot of the times we've had snow so far this year, it's been really cold half the time. So then the ground, number one, the salt stops working after like 50, when it gets like below 15. So it's not working as well. And yesterday, the ground was warm for Thursday and Friday. So then that plus them just being on top of it on Saturday just really helped everything. So the roads really weren't that bad, even though there was a decent bit of snow, and then it melted pretty quickly. I mean, it's still some out there,
just kind of stayed in on Saturday. The roads did look like they maybe were a little bit slippery, but it was a pretty snow. It looked nice. It didn't cause too many problems. You and I talked about this before the weekend. A Saturday snow probably is the one that causes the least amount of problems, simply because it's probably the day of the week that fewer people have to go out. I'm not saying they don't go out, but they don't have to go out. I didn't even see. I didn't even see too many people going for bread and milk. No, we did. We went for bread and milk. But,
I think everyone's just over it. We're all just done with it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. And now we turn the tables. We look to a good day today, and really a good week all week, right?
I'll be on a walk on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because it's just really like even those like few days where I just stay and not go out, I was like, I'm gonna kill somebody. I just want to go outside. I mean, it's gonna be pretty nice. I mean, 57 for today and tomorrow. I didn't plan that it's gonna happen. And then we'll have probably some more clouds in the forecast tomorrow, but even with that, it's not looking like it's going to be enough to really ruin the day. We'll still have some sunshine popping in there. Wednesday and Thursday not looking too shabby either. Highs getting into the mid and upper 60s, some more sunshine popping out. I mean, we're not technically in spring. It's our Sunday, but it's going to be a spring-like week ahead. So, I mean, I'm very happy. My job was very easy this week. No overtime, which would be awesome. So,
we officially hit spring the end of this week, and this week is just a great lead up weather-wise to the start of spring. We're in the high 50s and 60s, and even pushing 70 at one point throughout the week. So maybe Saturday's little bit of snow was our final one of the season. Maybe, knock wood, maybe.
Yeah, we usually, Stephen got mad at me for saying this earlier. We usually at least get a couple more snowflakes at some point before the end, like before summer, but nothing. Like I'm thinking this is probably our last like big one. You know what I mean? Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's what I would hope, and it's what it kind of feels like to me. And again, looking at this week, just an excellent week for us. It's a little cool this morning, though. It's cold this morning, actually. 34 the last I checked at the airport. I assume it still is. So it's cold morning, but it's going to warm up nicely.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those days where Biff and I were just talking about it a second ago. You need to wear layers today because you're going to want to take some off as you get to the rest of your day. Again, did I bring layers? No, I brought a parka.
You didn't know the forecast, Aaron? You didn't pay attention to what your own guys were saying? You just decided to do your own thing, huh? Just gonna do your own thing.
Like I knew what it was gonna be, and I thought about this morning. I was like, okay, so here's my issue: is I tend to just have a lot of jackets sitting in the back of my car, and the jacket I wanted to wear was in the back of my car, and I just didn't feel like dealing with going to my car and getting it, and then putting a cold jacket on. It's not gonna help me for the ride over. And I was just like, I'll just suffer later on.
well, alrighty then. All right.
It's a great outlook, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But not a whole lot much more to say. Looks like a good week, good day, good week. I'm kind of happy about it. We can get out and enjoy the weather outside, and you can take a walk on the trail. I can watch people walking on the trail.
People watch me walk on the trail and ask why I'm wearing a flannel.
I'll probably get a chance to sit on the glider this afternoon, and my grandson. Actually, no, wait, he's here during the day, so we can do it daytime today. We'll go out in the middle of the day and sit on the glider, and he'll sit on the swing, and we have a game we call the letter game, and he swings and I glide, and we play a game together outdoors when the weather is nice. And I think that's probably going to be a day like today. When will we get warm enough? How quickly will we warm up this morning? Let me make that my last question for you.
Yeah, so we're gonna right now, like you said, we're at 34 degrees. We'll get into like the 40s by like 11 or 12 o'clock. So it's definitely not going to be like, 43. It's like I have 43 by about 11 o'clock. It's really not that bad. So we're gonna get warm here over the next few hours. Then we're hitting 50s by about this afternoon. So then we'll start to really feel it a bit more.
All right. Well, a good forecast. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. We will talk to you again tomorrow.
Talk to you then. You guys have a good one.
Thanks a lot. Aaron Myler, Big 7, WTRF TV. Yeah, Biff, looks like a good day. Did the storm, let me rephrase it again. Did the snow cause you any problems at all, Biff, over the weekend?
No, it did not.
No, it was nice to look at. I don't think we went out at all on Saturday, but it was nice. I mean, it came down heavy, a lot of winds, but it didn't really cause any problems for us. So it was just kind of a nice, hopefully, nice way to have our final snow of the season. Hopefully.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I can remember in years past we've had Easter Sundays in late March and even in early April where it snowed. So
Yeah, I remember
Not
Easter
out of the
snows
question.
before. Yep. I remember my kids, doing Easter egg hunts in the snow. So that's, it has certainly happened in the past. All right, 7:52, 8 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Tom Brady says he's had enough, 40 days of retirement. That's enough retirement. I think I'm going back. It's one of the stories Bill DeFabio will check for us coming up next in Mr. DeFabio's Morning Sports Report.
In hockey, the Wheeling Nailers lose a tough one Sunday, 3-2 to Reading. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the Penguins defeated Carolina 4-2. Let's hear from head coach Mike Sullivan.
I do think we defended really hard tonight. They got some looks, but I thought we defended on like the second opportunities, the rebounds, things of that nature.
Sully's Penguins back in action Tuesday night when they visit Nashville. Well, get those March Madness brackets ready. Your 4 top seeds, Gonzaga in the West region, Arizona in the South region, in the Midwest, the Kansas Jayhawks, and over in the East, Baylor. Spring training is underway for the Pirates. They'll be practicing and getting ready for their first preseason game, which will take place Friday against the New York Yankees. And believe it or not, he's back for season number 23. Tom Brady, that oldie but goodie, is coming back to play football in the National Football League, and he'll play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Season number 23, can you believe it? And you know what? This is great news for the National Football League. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
Did you know that 3 Ohioans are diagnosed with oral cancer every day? Dentist. Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Did you know that Masterforce has thousands of tools at Menards? Any tool you want, we have. There are hammers, drills, pliers, levels, wrenches, grinders, sanders, air compressors, nailers, workbenches, mowers, blowers, chainsaws, floor jacks, knee pads, work lights, fans. Whew. And that's just a taste. Want power, performance, durability? Come check out the wide range of products from Masterforce, exclusively at Menards.
Hey there, Dave Weekley here. Metro News Hotline presents what's trending in sports, music, movies, tech, television, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Renowned local and national guests pepper the daily lineup with authoritative insights and commentary on a wide variety of topics from West Virginia high school sports to the financial markets. Join the fun. Every day, Coop and I dip into irreverent discussions with calls, texts, tweets, the question of the day, and the always popular In or Out. Metro News Hotline, weekdays from 3 to 6 on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Live and local for the Ohio Valley, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Couple away from the top of the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. 34 at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 33 here at the home studios and at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. And big congratulations once again Biff, every year around this time, I hold my breath when I know the Wheeling Park High School speech and debate team is heading off to the state championships of speech and debate in West Virginia. They have this unbelievably long running streak, and they kept it going again this weekend. Wheeling Park High's speech and debate team walked away state champions again, 42nd state championship in a row. That is just, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
It is quite the accomplishment.
I say it every year, too. You know, the pressure on these kids has to be phenomenal. And on Bill Cornforth, their director, because, you know, I mean, look, there is at some point, you're going to lose. I mean, I don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx it. I mean, it doesn't go on forever, right? And kids have to go into this knowing that, oh, God, what if we're the ones to stop the streak? I'm sure that Bill has given them a lot of pep talks about the streak isn't important, doing your best work is important, and so on. But 42 state consecutive championships, that's pretty good. You know, Biffy, when we look at football, basketball, and, you know, we find teams that have, 2 or 3 consecutive wins or more, 3 or 4 maybe. You know, they're like gods, right? 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, there's dynasty talk with them.
Let alone 42 state championships back to back. There was a second speech and debate championship as well. It wasn't the statewide championship, but there was another state championship held this weekend at Fairmont State University, and Wheeling Park also won there as well. So, round of applause, Wheeling Park High School speech and debate team, the team members all for sure, as well as Bill Cornforth, their director, for bringing in number 42. It's been 2 years since COVID came. Is it gone? What do you think about as we reflect back on those 2 years? Howard Gamble from the Health Department in Ohio County joins us next hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
From April.
I assume we still have a capital report this morning. All right, I don't know how much longer it'll go on, but I thought it'd be here today. All right, we'll do that, and then it should be Howard Gamble after that. All right, thanks.